is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Well, your mom.
Back here on First Things First, talking Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. According to our friends at Fox Bet, KC favored by 10 points against the division rival Raiders, whom they played this weekend. Quite a spread for two teams separated by just one game. Nick Wright, should the Chiefs be on upset alert?
Homer.
No.
What was that?
He called me a homer. No.
Oh, okay.
That you could be from, you don't have to even be from the continental United States. You could be like our friend Stink from Alaska. And you know that however flawed you think the Chiefs may be, here's one thing they don't do the last 5 years. Pre-Mahomes, just under Andy Reid, lose to divisional opponents. Last 26 games against the AFC West, 24-2. Those two losses, both 1-point losses, both after very questionable pass interference calls in the end zone in the final 10 seconds of football games. They have run this division more than the Patriots have won the AFC East, over the last 5 years. They have the best interdivisional record over the last 5 years of anybody. They already went to Oakland, played one quarter, and whooped them. They were down 10-0 after the first quarter. They got Mahomes threw 4 deep touchdown passes in the second quarter, and they coasted home. And Oakland, man, if Oakland was a team to be feared, you cannot let what happened last week against Bart's beloved New York Jets, speaking of homers, Bart's beloved New York Jets beat you. Like, the Raiders had a really golden opportunity here. If they had beaten the Jets, they would be 7-4. Kansas City would be 7-4. You would be coming into the game with a chance to take the lead in the AFC West for the first time at any point in the season in, I think, 5 years. Or no, 4 years, since the year where Carr broke his leg at the end of the year. And instead, you fell on your face against the Jets. So I know the Chiefs weren't overly impressive in Mexico City. They're coming off a bye. It's the healthiest they have been all year long. And that, to me, Bart, is the key to Kansas City if they are going to be a contender. I think Mahomes and Tyreek Hill have been on the field together for 7.5 quarters all year. They lost their left tackle very early in the year, finally got him back. This is the healthiest version the Chiefs are going to see. So, no, I don't think the Chiefs should be on upset alert at all this weekend.
Yeah, but they should make sure that they go in there with a healthy respect for the Raiders, because just because you dominated a team before doesn't mean that you dominate them again. And we all know Andy Reid's record coming off of a bye. He's damn near unbeatable. But if it is one shot, one glimmer of hope, I believe, for the Raiders, is going to be Josh Jacobs. You know, keeping Mahomes off the field and play the keep away game and just try and methodically move the ball, win the time of possession. But it's going to be incumbent on Derek Carr to make sure that he's able to get 7 instead of 3, which is hard to do. And they've played well in spurts. They've got out to fast leads. I believe in that game they were out to a 10-0 lead before Kansas City came and smacked them around a little bit. But this defense for Kansas City is still untested. They're unproven. They're getting better when Jones came back. But I just believe that you can have a shot if they can turn the ball over, get extra possessions. But even with that, I know I'm lying to myself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Josh Jacobs would have, and Josh Jacobs has been excellent.
Almost 1,000 yards already.
And if it wasn't for what Kyler's doing, he might be the favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's going to have his best game of the season, and you're going to have to turn Mahomes over, and you're going to have to take that Arrowhead crowd out of it early, which is damn near impossible in a game against their biggest rival. This is not because this is the city where I'm from. This is a bad matchup for Oakland. It's been a bad matchup for Oakland for 5 years, and the Raiders, it's not just the AFC West that they might have left on the table last week against the Jets. It's the chance to be a really surprising good story of being a playoff team by getting that final wild card spot out of the AFC. They should be 7-4. Instead, they're 6-5, and they're going to leave this game 6-6, saying what happened to our season that quickly. I would be shocked if Kansas City loses this football game. Like, more shocked than I was against Tennessee. Because Tennessee, and they had Tennessee beat before they blew it at the end. Tennessee, to me, has more ways to beat you, especially since they went to Tannehill, than the Raiders do right now.
We've seemingly abandoned Patrick Mahomes as an MVP candidate just because of what Lamar's doing and the consistent play of Russell Wilson, and obviously Patrick Mahomes was hurt. And we're not really talking about the Chiefs right now because they had a couple of flubs, especially what happened down in Mexico. But this Kansas City team, I know that Bart is probably not as high on them as you are right now, but do you still have the same faith in them? Like, what do you expect to see from Patrick Mahomes? I know how good they usually are coming off a bye, but do you expect them to come out and throw it all out there, finally having Tyreek Hill back out there?
I expect them to come out and light the scoreboard up. I expect them to come out and look like the best offense in the league. But the problem with Kansas City, when you're such a dynamic team that can put up points, they can't salt the game away. And that's what concerns me, the fact that they don't have a power running game that when they go up by 3 scores, game over, where they can go on these 8 to 10 play drives. Because what happens is, much as he throws the ball, if they're incomplete, it stops the clock. And it allows this defense to get back on the field, and it gets exposed. That's my biggest concern for them, is the fact that they don't have a power running game, that they don't have somebody like a LeGarrette Blount, somebody that can come in and fall forward for 2, 3.5 yards and be able to soak the game away. And that's going to come back to bite them, especially when you talk about playing in November, December, January. The elements play a big role in how far the ball travels as far as punts, kickoffs, field goals, attempts, and things of that.
Kansas City has lost the right to feel like that there's any game, and so I guess Raider game included, that they're a shoo-in, that they guaranteed to win, because they fell flat on their face against Indy. Indy's a decent team. Yeah. Houston beat them, and then the Tennessee game is really alarming because they just needed to salt it away, to your point. With that said, there is not a team in the league that plays the Chiefs and feels good about it. There's not a team in the league that looks at the Chiefs and says, oh, we got this one. Right. Because the Chiefs offense still, when fully functional, fully healthy, is the best offense in football by a mile. Yeah. Like, they are top 3 offense statistically this year. Patrick Mahomes has played 4 healthy games the whole season. Tyreek Hill missed the first, after week 2, he missed the first, or week 1.5, I guess. Yeah. He missed the first 6 weeks of the year after that. And they are still putting up those types of points.
No lead is safe.
No lead is safe, and there is no team they can't beat. Right. Now, they've shown there's a lot of teams they can lose to, which was different than last year. But this is still a team that, I don't know your opinion. Would it shock you if they came out of the AFC?
No, not at all. Because they've already beaten Baltimore, and you can tell the pressure that just the threat of knowing how high-powered this offense is. Baltimore went in, they did things that were uncharacteristic. They were going for it on 4th down.
Every time.
In their territory and scoring territory instead of taking 3, because you know that 3 won't allow you to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because they're so dynamic that in an instance, in blink of an eye, that they can score in 2, 3 play drives.
So listen, there's 7 teams in the league that are viable Super Bowl contenders. The Chiefs are one of those teams. The Raiders are not. I think that will show up Sunday afternoon.
All right. Let's break there. Coming up, can the 49ers actually slow down Lamar Jackson? Plaxico Burress is going to stop in. Talk about that next on First Things First.